This is the Finance Committee meeting for January, what is today? 14th, 2025. It is 4 minutes past 7. We have myself, Mike Warner, chairperson, Kathleen Otina on the phone. We have Mike Andrews, Mike Flanagan, Jason Hunter, Ralph, and that's, yeah. We may see Al in a little bit. He was hung up at work, but we do have enough to start. Let's see, no big changes really from last time. Our reserve fund still has not been touched, so we're at $35,000 there. We have no requests pending against it to review. We do not have minutes from our last meeting. Elizabeth was out, our recording secretary, and as soon as she's able to, she's going to catch us up on those. So we are caught up with our minutes at this point. This evening, we have a couple of budget reviews. While we're waiting, is there anything that anybody needs to bring up before we start?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
I reached out to the animal control officer and
yes.
Laura. But she said she's not the head of the department.
Okay.
So I don't really know who to reach out to for that.
Who's not the head of what department?
Laura
and Joe.
They're not head of the animal control.
Sent them an email. I CC'd you on it, Mike. I don't know if you got it.
Laura Howe did not come last year either. She came 2 years ago. Yeah. I've only met her once in the capacity of the animal control officer. She presented a budget 2 years ago and then last year declined. And she may be conflicted now that she's on the select board. I don't know.
There was somebody last year that came for animal control.
It may have been Mary Beth.
Maybe. So why don't we do this, Mike? Can you just forward the original request with that reply over to Mary Beth, the town administrator, and just ask her, if she could either forward to the right person or let you know who the right person would be.
So Laura emailed me back and she said she'll hopefully get back to me on
okay.
who to talk to. So
all right. Give it a day or so. Great. Okay. Anything else?
I could take care of some subcommittee reports.
I was going to say, let's jump right into those because I know some took place.
Okay, so the Capital Committee did meet on January 9th, and we reviewed the capital requests submitted by several departments. One of them was not the DPW, Highway, and Tree. I saw that Bruce Martin submitted something today. The Capital Committee had not seen that last Thursday. So we did meet. I have the list of capital requests submitted by facilities, the fire department, and I don't have the list. I should have written it on my notes. But we're, as a committee, sort of in a quandary. Like, it's great to have this list of capital items. Do we have a dedicated funding source that we can count on to fund the top priorities that we come up with? So we will be meeting again on February 6th.
Okay.
And the next report is Whitman Middle School Building Committee. We met this afternoon at 4:30. I participated remotely, and we voted to add one subcontractor whose submission got stuck in spam, and we didn't want to be, challenged that our pre-qualification list was compromised, and they seem to be a very well-qualified subcontractor. Glass and glazing was their specialty, so we amended our list of pre-qualified subcontractors. I voted to pay some bills, and we're looking at meeting on February 13th to award the bid to the general contractor. So the Middle School Building Committee is making great progress. We are still under budget and on our schedule.
Okay.
And the Regional Agreement Amendment Committee meets tomorrow night at 5. So I'll have a report for you next week.
Okay.
Kathleen, Mike Andrews. Who are the general contractors that bid?
I didn't anticipate those kind of questions, Mike, but I'll pull it up later. I have a spreadsheet, an extensive spreadsheet that's tiny, so I'd have to, explode the few so I could read it. We have five GCs who have pre-qualified. and I will get that information to you once I pull up the spreadsheet later tonight.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. We did get a response also from Mary Beth that the Whitman Hanson Regional School District audit is completed. It's in the, I believe, the select board's hands right now. We should see a copy of that in the next couple of weeks, is what it sounded like in the email. So that's heartening.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think that's it then. So,
Do we have a report from Rick, or are they meeting on the DPW? He's fairly good about it.
Yeah, I did not get an email from him, so I'm not sure if they have met yet or what their status is on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm going to see him this weekend, and I'm sure we'll touch base on it. So I'll have a little more information next week too.
Okay.
All righty. So do we have any of our folks here? We have Public Works, DPWs. You put up that box? Come on in. All that rig of the wall out there when they finished.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good evening.
Got a chair right here for you.
Okay, there you go. We'll do some introductions, just make sure everybody knows who everybody is.
Okay.
Mike Warner, I'm vice chair. We have Kathleen Otina on the phone. She's the chair.
Oh, all right. I thought I heard
Hi.
her voice. How you doing?
Is it Bruce or David?
It's
I can't
Bruce.
tell. Okay, Bruce. Oh, good. Good to talk to you. Good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Mike Andrews.
How you doing, Mike?
Jason Hunter.
Jason?
Mike Flanagan.
Mike.
Ralph Mitchell.
All right.
Okay. So I just want to pass these out just before. This is just an email I got from the architect for our new building, and it's relevant to my divisional expense line, which we were gonna hold at level funded, but because of the new building, I can't do that because the projected electricity and gas costs are way higher than I've spent for the old building, which kind of was a shock to me. But we won't know until we at least get through 1 year.
Right.
But I asked the architect, the gas company, what should I expect to be paying for fuel costs starting? We'll be in the building sometime at the end of July, we hope. So it'll be for all next fiscal year.
Is that because of square footage?
It's more square footage. The old building, only half of the front building that's still standing right now is heated.
Gotcha.
Even though they're literally sieves, like the heat just goes in and out. The garage doors, they're not building insulated or anything like that. So I'm hoping his projections are way off. I spoke to the police department about their energy costs, and they're much lower than what he projects for our building, and their building's quite large, and they're a 24/7 operation. Whereas we'll be, like the new truck garage, we'll only have the heat at like 50, in the winter. We won't even turn that on until November or late November, and that's just to keep those trucks warm. The other part of the building where the employees are working, the mechanics and the admin part, obviously, that will, be at normal temperatures preset. But so I'm hoping it's way lower than what he projected. But when you look at my expense line, and does everybody have this? And I sent out
I did see that.
a new one yesterday. You all have that. I sent the new one out yesterday, and the only thing new on it is the clerical line. Did anybody get that?
Yeah, it went out
I
yesterday.
did.
Okay. And the clerical line, I should just go into whatever. We'll start at the top, I guess, is that you like. So superintendent DPW operations, that's me. We were told to do a 2.5% increase on that, so that's what that line reflects there. The next line down is superintendent's
I'm good. Thanks.
CDL stipend. Again, that just reflects that's 1% of my base salary, and then So that increase reflects the 2.5% increase on my base salary. Union labor salaries. So I didn't add in any, raises or anything like that, but I added in contractual raises, like if an employee is jumping from, a level B to a level C because of he's going to hit that in the next fiscal year, or for instance, I have a new employee that is training to be a truck driver now. He goes for his license next week, so next year, in the next fiscal year, he'll certainly be moved up to a truck driver.
Right.
Things like that. So those increases are reflected in that line, but other than that, there's it's all contractual increases or projected. We move guys up. If we have a guy that's a truck driver laborer and he goes and gets his hoisting license and he demonstrates that he's, decent at running a front end loader or a backhoe, we move him up to equipment operator. So that's what that is. Union clerical salaries. So that's the salary line that's Lonnie Gazanthan. She's there's a longevity benefit after 20 years, and they get 7 and 7. And then if they continue to be employed, they roll back to the base salary. That goes back to 14%. So she'll be in her second year of that starting July 1st. So that's the increase on that line. Recording secretary is level funded. Longevity pay. That just reflects the increase for employees. If I have an employee going from his 9th year to his 10th year, when he hits his 10th year, he gets longevity pay. So that's the increase there. Police details, level funded. We generally stay, we generally spend to the top of that. When we do a bunch of road work around town, that's Chapter 90 work, and it's funded by the state, and the details are built into that. So otherwise, the 16.5 wouldn't even come close. But so that police details covers when my guys are working on the road throughout the year, whether it's an emergency or we're just repairing something on the road. And so we'll level fund that. It does become a bit of a challenge because we keep holding that 16.5, but the police salaries keep going up. So, and they're at their overtime rate when we hire them for details, but there's a lot of younger police officers now, so their rates are a little lower for now. Divisional expenses. So, again, that increase is solely for projected energy costs for the new building. I hope it's not as high as he says it's going to be. I hope I'm not sometime next spring looking for some kind of line transfer to pay my utilities bills to get to July 1st or June 30th of next year. But so it's kind of like the first year with the new building. We're going to have to wait and see. But by the projections, I still went a lot lower than what they projected. But take that 45, add what we usually spend between 18 and 20 now, and then going by what like the police department's paying and everything, I think hopefully we can stay under what the projection is and stay within our budget. Stormwater management, that's a yearly thing. We'll keep the line level funded on that. That's various DEP requirements to have stormwater outfalls tested, and we hire an engineering firm to do that. And develop certain plans and bylaws that this to work on. The street lighting line is exactly what it looks like. Street lighting, that line covers the cost of the electricity and any repairs. So it's very tight. Last year, I think we were at 48 something on a $50,000. So if we have a windstorm or a tree go down and it takes down a telephone pole and there's a light on that telephone pole, National Grid now will take that light and they'll leave it on the ground next to the pole. And then I have to hire an electrician with a bucket truck to go remount it and rewire it. Because we own all the streetlights in town. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Years ago, we took over the streetlights and went to LED. I am working on, with National Grid, trying to have them take them all back, ownership, and then they would charge you maintenance. The only thing we would have to worry about is paying the electric bill. I was told by one of the higher ups at National Grid that they are required to take it back if we ask them to, as long as our fixtures are compatible with their fixtures. So hopefully we can do that. It's just the added burden of doing the repairs is, has a cost. And if it's a car accident, we go after the insurance company. The insurance company will pay to have the light put back up. So we do that.
Sure.
But the chase is on. Solid waste disposal. We're in the that will be the second year of a new contract with Waste Management. We will have to bid. This is the increase that's in the new contract. It's purely contractual. The only thing that's that's a guesstimate on that is the recycling cost is all market based. So they know how much it costs to handle a ton of recyclables. But what they don't know is month to month how much they'll get for the recyclables on the market. So every time, so it fluctuates. We set it at $100 a ton. There's been times years ago where they paid us,
Yes.
after they've sorted it. The solid waste disposal, they own the landfill, so they set the rate per ton, so that doesn't change. There's no fluctuation in those costs. Park maintenance, $2,600. It's not very much, but to take care of the park. But I supplement that out of my budget. Obviously, $2,600 wouldn't even come close to what the work we do in the town park. But part of my divisional expense goes to whatever we need to do in the park. And then the Friends of the Park help, when we need to purchase things. Snow and ice, it's budgeted the same amount every year. We can deficit spend it if we run over. Right now we're doing pretty good, although I just ordered about $18,000 worth of salt today from a few storms that we've had. That's it. That's my lines.
Park looks great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Nice job, Bruce.
Yeah, we have a new fountain that the Friends of the Park bought us. We'll be installing that in the spring.
Was that why you took the trees down?
Well, we took the trees down. I had a study done probably 7 years ago. It cost a few bucks, but the guy spent a couple days in the park and he went over every tree. Literally checked out every tree. He did these graphs on some of the trees that were in question where they put like a drill into the tree, a very small tree drill, and they see what kind of density is in there, if it's hollow or not. And he had recommendations on every tree. And a lot of the trees, like, these should really come down. But you looked at a tree and it would leaf out. And it would look nice in the fall still. But there was some dead in there and we'd trim them out. And then sometimes they would fall in storms. And we had a couple decent limbs come down some windy storms this year. So I said, we just got to take them down.
Yeah.
So we saved a lot of money doing it. If I hired a tree company to do that, it would probably have been a $7,000 a day. And we rented one of them lifts for $500, and my guys did all the work. And we'll dig the stumps right out rather than grind them, so we can plant new trees in the same area. And so hopefully in the spring we'll get some funds either from my account or the Friends of the Park. Maybe we'll just plant some new trees. The problem is those trees were 100 years old. They're this big around. They're just, none of us will ever see them that big. But
Right. 5 years from now, someone will.
yeah. So we'll keep that going. Gonna paint the bandstand this year. Any questions?
Anything you see coming down the pike that might be a challenge, or maybe additional costs, or we got some
Capital purchases, or just
we've got there's a planning for some new development in the town. Anything like that might affect
We're in the process of pursuing a TIP project, and I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that. So it's Transportation Improvement Projects, and it's state and federal funded. And the problem is, and we funded it at town meeting a couple times already. We pay for the engineering cost of that, and then in the end, the hope is that you get a large project out of it. And in this case, the project's like a $12 to $14 million project. And we're paying the engineering costs of that. We're in the middle of doing that now. We're chasing that now. It all looks really good. They think we're a great candidate because of the T, and it's going to be the South Ave corridor, we're calling it. South Ave corridor project starts at Dyer Ave, and it goes up to Plymouth Street, and it will be fixing all the sidewalks, readjusting some of the crazy intersections, narrowing the road near the old Park Ave school where the road's like 60-something feet wide. They'll fix that intersection there. The sidewalks aren't in rough shape, but the sidewalks will be all fixed. They'll reconfigure. The big thing is they'll reconfigure that whole area around the East End, the old East End Fire Station. I call it the brick building that was the insurance agency down the East End there.
Yeah.
So they're talking about eliminating the road that cuts in behind there, widening, bringing out the curbing on the hill that comes down so it's more like the width of a normal road. Major changes like that. And all in front of what we call the 400 block, those white apartment buildings. The curb line, you see how we have the cones out there now to try to encourage traffic to stay out there rather than make it like 3 lanes, people going right up Reiner Ave. That curbing would grow all the way out, and that would be green space, trees, grass, benches, things like that. So, big project. And
Apartments staying there?
yeah, the apartments would stay there. They're privately owned with just like, there'd probably be a sidewalk still right in front of them, and then all out, it would be like, probably a green space of some sort, and then the actual curbing out by where the fog line should be.
Yeah.
And just new crossings and everything for the railroad. I think, the fact that there's proposals or there's plans, preliminary plans to build some kind of housing down Pond Street there would actually make us even a better candidate to get the funding. So.
Right. Okay.
And even the area down by Regal Street where the Duval School is, those sidewalks, there's no curbing.
Right.
So, like, when the kids are walking to school, they're walking on the sidewalk, but the sidewalk is actually flush with the road. There's no, curbing does provide some kind of protection.
Yeah.
So,
What's the plan of that old school back there?
the Park Ave school,
Yeah.
I just walked through there with the fire chief and the facilities manager yesterday because kids broke in there over the weekend. And there's evidence of the kids trying to start a fire in the auditorium. Like little campfires. Like, it's when you go in that building because it's all plywooded up and everything, there's no light in there whatsoever when you shut a door, so it is creepy. You cannot see
Smoking
anything.
themselves out.
Yeah. So like if they ever lit a fire in there and they couldn't find their way out, because whatever way they came in, it's a maze, and so it really has to come down. Whatever they do with the property is a different story, but they got to find some kind of funding to get that down. I always say just get it down, get rid of all the asphalt except for the U-shaped driveway. We'll put a nice new flag up.
Could that be part of
Boom
that?
and seed the whole thing.
Could that be part of that bid for a project? Get funding to take it down and put something there?
That's a question I'll ask.
Eat the cost of having to take it down.
Yeah.
I
mean, a contractor with a good-sized excavator would have that thing down in
I know
2 days.
I know a person in town. I do.
The problem is, like, when you walk around in there, the ceilings, I'm sure all the ceilings have probably got asbestos in them, the tiles and the floor tiles and any other pipes in there and stuff.
There's a licensed crane operator I know that he demos and takes money back for. He'll take the junk steel, copper, whatever. So he scraps and takes all the materials out.
Right. I'm sure it would go down in no time. I'd love to see it just flush. I'd loom and seed it, spray some grass, be a nice park.
And a nice walkway through.
Yeah.
But the hazardous materials is going to be
You'd have to have a survey done. Somebody go in there, survey the building, identify all the
How year was
hazardous.
that building? Go back to
1950s.
Yeah, I would think maybe
Think.
the 50s and 60s.
Which-
Just missed a lot of the, you know.
Yeah, it's really when the police station was put in. They found a lot, around the pipes. They found that, but once they actually started in the building, then they found that the tiles were the old asbestos fibrous
I
stuff.
work in it every day. I'm taking
Oh, yeah.
down the Zero Theater in New
Oh, really?
Bedford
Yeah.
right now. You know, we're dropped all the floors out of the place and have just the exterior. You know,
Yeah.
red lead
Yep.
paint on all the steel. You know, so
And when they do the survey, they go really in depth. Like the DPW garage that's out, the garage that's out front now that's still standing. They found something hazardous in the glazing for the window.
yeah,
Yeah,
PBG,
right.
Yeah,
PGB
and I'm like,
in that old glazing.
so that's a thing that they have to have removed. And I'm like, to me, it just seems crazy.
Oh, they
Just
come like
crush it, and
this.
put it in a dumpster.
Yeah, they go like this, and they put a
Nobody's
little
gonna
bag, and
Yeah.
then you tape it,
Yeah.
and then they spread it on a landfill and
Right.
cap it. You know, for years
Right.
down the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets
Yeah.
into the water, the water table, and that's the issue with a lot of it.
Or
too.
you just take it down and pay the fine. It's probably cheaper. Yeah,
Well,
that's what it's.
okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't see anything big cost. We'll just continue with our road work with Chapter 90 and
That's
Yeah.
the only thing I have a question about. Chapter 90 on the police side is that it's paid for by the state, right? That not the town. You said, or who pays chapter?
you mean the police details when
Yeah,
we do Chapter
details.
90 work? So they give us about $325 a year, and we take that money and we so this year we did Dover Street, Glen Street, Suffolk Street, and so I put in a project request to the state, and in that project request I provide all the cost, an estimate of all the costs, like how much it's going to cost to bill it,
Yeah.
everything, and the police details, like 10 days, 2 men at X
Yeah,
amount of dollars
yeah.
per day, and then they okay that. And then as those invoices come in with the details, I overestimate the details all the time because you're not sure how long it's going to take, whatever. And we just submit all those invoices right to the state for the police details.
But the police don't put in for that through the town too. They get paid
No.
through the town also,
No.
right? All right.
Do you have a list of streets on next to you there?
We don't have a list. We did what we call a windshield survey a few years ago, and we rated all the streets, but we didn't rank them. We didn't go, this is the worst street, 1, 2, 3, all the way down. We just rated them as new, good, fair, poor, failed, and so we try to look at this, and then we take the streets, poor and failing, and we try to rank, put them one ahead of the other by the amount of traffic they get. That's why, I have so many people that live in cul-de-sacs or dead ends or subdivisions that just have one way in, one way out, and they're only going to pay at my street. And we try to do the streets that get the most traffic first. We did Warren Ave. Warren Ave, believe it or not, gets a ton of traffic. Rock Street, Star Street, all those streets of people.
Alden Street gets tons of traffic.
And I'm sure that's
are all messed up right across
people
the park.
avoiding the four-way stop. I do it. I
Yeah.
live right there. I'll go down Jenkins.
I know. I live on Dewey and Alden.
Yeah.
So I'm watching
Maybe
on my
Alden's-
porch, like
Alden's-
flying by, and I'm like,
I would say all
There's
is on
a
a short
corner.
list.
yeah.
But
Like put speed bumps on that street.
so what we're looking at next year, and I don't like to say it at town meeting or anything because we have to see how much we got to get the estimates and see how much we get from the state. Then the town meeting kicks in the last few years, $100,000 or $50,000 for road work, and that helps. That could be a short road, $100,000.
Yeah.
So, but next year we're looking at Whitman Ave from Washington Street all the way down to Blake, and it gets a lot of traffic. It's the park. You see it on a summer day, on a winter day when people are sledding. It's a mess. And down by the playground, it's holding water because the grades are all off and the water doesn't make it to the catch basins. So that's on the list. Laurel Street, right across from the post office, is a mess. The grades are all off. The sidewalk, the street's like higher than the sidewalk, and the water all runs. So that would be a total reclamation where they dig it down a foot, redo the whole thing. So that's a little bit more than typical for a street of that length. So
Oh, good around there.
Yeah.
It looked really good. Park looks awesome. I skated down there the other day.
Yeah,
I got on Thursday.
I got a lot of grief for asking people not to throw sticks on the pond.
I shot rocks back. I shot the rocks back at the kids that were doing it.
Good.
Yeah.
I did. One came out and said, sorry about my friends. And he said, just be careful who you hang out with. He said, I might come back and skate later. So as long as your friends don't ruin the ice, and it looked like it held up.
The kids, the day I talked to two kids, I literally walked from my porch because I saw them doing it. I'm like, oh, I can't watch that. And I walked across.
Yeah.
And I said, can you guys not do that? And they're like, yeah. And I said, you know why I'm asking not to do that? Why? Because you ruin the ice for the people that want to skate on it.
Yeah.
And well, it's not safe. I brought my skates. I was going to skate, but it's not safe. So I go, so you brought your skates to skate, but now you're ruining the ice because it's not safe.
Yeah. If I can't have it, nobody can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear it as I was walking up with my son. He's in the stroller, and I got the stick, and I can hear boom,
Yeah.
boom, and I'm like, they're smashing the ice. We went up. I didn't say anything. Put my skates on, went out on the ice. First thing I did was just take the rock and send it back to them. And then they just kind of like, like, sorry. Yeah.
What we try to do is not have anything in the park for them to use.
Yeah.
Like the pathways.
I pulled a bird feeder out and put it next to the trash the other day. It was in the ice. I was like, where do you even get a bird
Bat box.
It was a
Yeah.
bat box. Excuse
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, pulled out Friday or Thursday maybe. But yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you again, Bruce.
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
Thank you very
If you have any
Appreciate it.
follow-up questions that you didn't think of, just email me or something else.
So,
Sure.
thank you.
Have a good night. All right.
Thank you, Bruce.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Right.
Very good.
That was painless.
Yeah. No,
This is straightforward.
Yeah. And they do a really good job, you know. With what they get. That's what I wanted to talk about. They get a lot of turnover because other towns pay more money, so people come here. I've heard work, get some licenses, and then they move on to one of the other towns. So, you know, it shows it pretty much where the people are getting the longevity pay. It's only going up 2,100. That's not that much. It's not. There's people. You know,
Not sticking
shows not a lot of people stick around.
All right. So we've got David LeMay for DPW Water and Sewer scheduled a few minutes from now. So,
Okay.
but any other thoughts or questions?
Actually, I reached out to the Council on Aging,
Oh, yeah.
and they are okay with the February 11th at 7:15, so can lock them in.
February 11th, it's 7:15. Excellent. Thank you.
Like, do you have another hard copy of that?
Not with me, no.
Okay.
Actually, this is an old one now. I'm looking at this.
It's
I'm looking at the soft
just
right now.
became
as well.
outdated with that new development.
Yeah. We have.
Yeah, I couldn't believe those kids smashing the ice.
So can I ask you a question, Mike?
Yep.
I know that the police chief sent an email explaining why he's hesitant to schedule a meeting with us because he has a level-funded budget, but then it's not realistic, so he has the real budget, which can't be sustained by our current resources. So he thinks of it as sort of a, I'm not going to say waste of time. That's not the words that he used, but it's like, what do you want? Which budget would I present? Is it going to be a good use of my time and your time?
Yep.
And I empathize with them, but just as when the fire chief came and I listened to that meeting, you get a real feel for the pressures that the heads of these departments are experiencing.
I heard something going. I wasn't sure if you guys were part of listening or anything. So.
No, we always
No
have
worries.
to
Come on in. Have a
We
seat.
come in early, guys, shit together before you guys go.
Yeah, David just came in.
No, that's fine. But I heard somebody talking. I didn't want to interrupt.
No,
Kathleen Ottoman's on the phone.
Kathleen's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm Mike Warner. How are you?
How you doing, David? How you doing?
David, how are you? I'm Mike.
How you doing?
Jason, I don't know if I'll get all the way down there.
Yeah.
How you doing?
It gets longer. He's like,
How you doing?
yeah.
It's a little. We move people here to laugh.
Yeah, we've got, Kathleen's at home right now, and then Chuck was not able to make tonight, and Al was, it depended on how work went. One of those,
Yeah.
can you say an extra little bit, you know?
Just wait.
Yep.
All right, so this is DPW for water and sewer, so everybody knows. All righty, sir. You want to start away and tell us all the great news we've got financially?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm pretty much level funded all the way around. I do have a couple line items that I'd like to increase. One of them would be especially the data process and mailing. Due to the new DEP regulations, I don't know how many of you live in town, but we had to send out letters for the lead line surveys and stuff. Well, that's going to be ongoing for the next 10 years. So every resident that is considered an unknown, I have to send letters out and file certificates every year.
I did mine. I gotta let you know.
That's fine. It's pretty simple, but so now that's going to be like an extra mailing, and I brought some invoices and stuff just to kind of show you what the cost was. If you'd like them, I can leave them here for you if you want to look at them or whatever. Even for other stuff too. So, but other than that, like I said, for the most part, it's pretty level funded.
How many people roughly do you have?
Right now, I had to mail out 2,500 letters.
Yeah.
But now,
That's not awful.
over the years, those numbers will go down. But for right now, I'd like to at least try to get to cover what the original cost was. And then, as the years go on and that gets less and less, it can go away. But we might want to try to keep it up because I know the DPW Board of Commissioners were possibly looking at where we're getting towards the end of the installing all the new meters. Mm-hmm. So it's all drive-by radio read, maybe go quarterly billing, kind of help out a lot of the residents too, instead of getting 2 bills twice a year. Yeah. Now they'll get them every quarter. Yeah. Mm. So, but that cost, I have invoices what it cost us to do that. And it's close to $5,000 every bill period. That includes like any demand letters also.
So you're adding 2 more billing,
Yeah, we'd be adding 2 more, but that's not something we have to do right away. But in the probably near term,
do the meter reading, right?
Yep, we do drive-bys right now, but hope by the time the registers and meters are only good for about 10 years. So no matter what, every 10 years we have to replace them. So that's going to be an added cost. Hopefully, we'll get into a fixed network where
take them back.
It's no drive-by. We can monitor everything right from the screen in the office.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's probably a capital project like later on.
Yep.
So, but anyway, all right. So the superintendent line is increased by 2.5 per recommendations from the town administrator. Obviously, the union salary, labor, and clerical is still up in the air because of the negotiations. The longevity line stays the same. It's all level funded. Police details, still the same at level funded. Sewer disposals will still stay the same, along with the water purchases. My utilities, electric and gas, telephone, is all going to be level funded. There's really no increase with the warmer weathers. It's been helping to keep down the cost of heating a lot of the sewer stations and stuff. Chemical line, still the same. Don't have to increase that as of right now. I'm actually hoping the decrease. I have a capital project to put in to replace and upgrade the chemical system that we have. So it'll be more efficient, and a larger tank will result in a cheaper cost per gallon for the chemicals.
What are the chemicals there?
We use bioxide, which is calcium nitrate, which goes into the force main system that cuts down on the odor, and the H2S, which causes
hard water.
Yeah. Well, this is the sewer. It goes over to Brockton.
Breaks it all down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps with that. So I'm kind of hoping to decrease future costs. It might cost me a little bit right now, but
buy and roll.
In the long term.
Yeah, because in the long term it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
The system will be more efficient. And like I said, I think we're paying. I think it's $3.97 a gallon, but we could probably drop it to almost $3 because right now we have a 2,800 gallon tank. A full load on a truck is 3,800, so we're only paying for partial truck. If I can get a full truck to come, it's going to result in less per gallon.
Right.
So, so my maintenance line, which is for the sewer part of it, I'd like to increase it by $5,000. I know we put a new force main, which is the pipe in the ground, but all the two main stations at Auburn Street and Commercial Street are still the same age. They're 30-something years old. They've been maintained, but nothing's really been upgraded. When it fails, it's really hard to find parts for. So, and then we have like 17 smaller stations that are the same age, and a lot of the submersible pumps are starting to fail. I just already had to repair only 2 of them, and it's cost me almost 20 grand just to repair the 2 of them. Newer pumps cost about 16,000.
Yeah, I was just saying, probably more money than buying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I actually found a good company over in Brockton. They're close. They're reasonable. They've been very well so far since I've used them.
Compared to over in Brockton.
No, we use Smith and Sons over in Brockton. It's kind of over by East Coast Trailer on that West Chestnut Street.
Oh yeah.
They've been really fair price compared to some of the other pump repair shops that we've used in the past. So it's been a little bit cheaper, but it's still
sounds
expensive.
like you searched around and found it.
Yeah. A lot. We use Bridgewater Pump a lot, and he's the one who recommended them. So we tried them out, and they've actually been a few $1,000s cheaper than actually Hayes Pump, who was actually on the state bid list. But they're coming in like $2,000 cheaper to repair a pump. So it's a lot better for us in the budget to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So my divisional expense is $66,000. I'd like to bump that up to about $4. The cost of buying the parts to repair a water main is starting to go up. We use high max trusses and pipe, and if we have to replace water services, the cost of brass has been going up. Mm-hmm. It's not a big jump, but just a little bit to try to help me out with that. I brought in, like I said, I can leave the cost of like some of the water breaks, like Beaver Street, and we've had Temple Street. We had one on. It costs, for example, the 2 couplings that we have to do, depending on the size pipe. I mean, it could cost me $1,200 just for the 2 couplings.
Yeah.
And then, the asphalt paving, I actually pay for out of my budget to re-asphalt the road when we're done repairing a service or water. So
something like that all in and out. What is the total cost?
Just off the top, just for example, I did bring them. There we go. I was just looking at it. So like we just repaired a 10-inch pipe up on Bedford Street. The 2 couplings cost me almost $1,200. Mm-hmm. And then the pipe is like $32 a foot. So depending on what we need with that piece, we replaced was like a 10-foot piece. So, you look at like $1,500 in costs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with the especially Beaver Street and Harvard Street, which I'm looking to hopefully replace, those are our main ones that we've been really having problems with.
Are those under the ground? You're digging them up?
Yeah, so we have to dig them up.
Yeah, so labor for guys.
The labor costs are added into my budget for salaries and stuff. So that's not, I'm just talking just the cost of the material to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So. But which isn't a lot. And then, as I spoke about earlier, my data processing and mailing, I'd like to bump. It's at 14,000 right now. I'd like to bump it up to like an extra 6 to 20,000. And I brought in, like I said, some invoices so you can look at them to see the cost, because it's Hayes Pump Harding for like cause CDS and with the new, yeah, I got them here. So with the new, like I said, DEP rules and regulations, I think it cost me like almost $3,000 just to send out those letters, never mind anything else. Cause I do have to do my annual statistic reports that get printed and water quality reports that get sent out. So that's the reason for trying to up that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then possibly go into that quarterly billing. We might have to bump it up a little bit more, but that's in a little bit near future.
Yeah.
But
Everything's falling on the same.
yeah, and then as far as my leak detection, that budget's fine. Cross connections, we have a company, wastewater, water safety services do that. They haven't said anything about increasing their fees or anything, so that's all level funded. And then just my miscellaneous also is all level funded. There's no increase, so it'd be just really them 3 line items. I'd like to try to increase a little bit to try to help out.
What's the total on those 3 line items?
The total for to increase to 3 would be like 15,000.
Yep.
And that would be the budget for the water and sewer department.
God, it seems like you need it.
Now the
Yeah, I mean, we can, like I said, I can tweak some of them.
Do you ever stockpile parts if you find them? You said it's hard to find them.
Well,
Buy one,
that's
you have to
that's
buy two.
for
And do they give you a discount if you buy 2?
that's for like it all for say the water for pots. Like we have a lot of older hydrants,
Yeah.
and they're not making the pots anymore. And if you can find them, now it's cheaper to replace the hydrant than it is to repair them.
Right.
I went to buy 3 repair kits for a Darling hydrant that we have a lot of, just to have them in, like you're saying,
Yeah.
in stock. It was almost 10 grand for just the repair parts.
Yeah.
I could replace 5 hydrants with the cost of that
Yeah.
and have a brand new
So
hydrant.
is that what you're
around.
doing now? Or you're just replacing hydrants instead of...
We're starting to look, Bartlett, who does a lot, I know Bruce Martin uses them a lot too for certain things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to start seeing about using, like if there's a car accident and they hit it, they usually deal with that and they'll deal with everything.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to pay for them, they deal with the insurance, they put the new hydrant in and we gain a new hydrant. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna start looking into,
having more accidents in town to take out.
no, not that, but
Seems cheap.
look
Yeah.
into more of replacing a
Yeah.
lot of the older hydrants than have repairing them because the new Mueller hydrants we can get them anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just a lot of the hydrants. The sewer pots, the control cabinets and stuff within the sewer department, they're at 30 something years old. It's I had an issue, I think it was about this time last year, we had an issue with the cabinet. And it was almost easier just for them to replace the control panel than it would be to actually repair it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just some of the parts,
Yeah. I
it's
find
just
that in a lot of stuff, you know.
starting to get,
It's like your car. I mean, after a while, it's just cheaper to buy another one.
Yeah, I'm looking, hopefully, my capital plan over the next, I got to board my office for 5, 10, 20 years and stuff.
Love to see it.
And the sewer system especially we've maintained it over, obviously the previous has been to maintain it, but nothing's ever been really upgraded. I had an evaluation done of just the 2 main station, and each station would cost 10 to 12 million just to upgrade to today's standards. And all the 17 smaller stations, we're looking at almost 2 million just to upgrade them to where we should be right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff that does now, with all the technology and stuff now, I could monitor them, open and close gates from the computer in the office to changing pumps. But this is long term,
Yeah.
Sure.
but it's probably something that's going to be the total cost to do all the smaller substations, you're talking like $75 million just to get all that upgraded.
Is there any kind of state or federal program that would help?
I
with
am
that?
working, environmental partners I'm working with, doing an asset management plan with them to get grants to do certain projects or low interest SRF loans and stuff. So we're out there, we're on a list. It's
Sure.
just whether we get it, and with now you still have to have all the funding for it, even though you're going to get a grant for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but I am in the prime working. I'm hopefully I'm on the list for, I think, this summer. So I'll see what comes my way for being able to get the loans or grants.
Yeah. You just chip away at that project.
That's all. That's all we can do is chip away at it.
Yeah.
It's,
In total, it'll be something like that.
right.
Get done what you can, though.
Yeah, just pick it. Like I said, I have some sort of a plan
Start.
to go.
Yeah.
It's just what prioritizes, obviously, my 5, 10, and 20. A 10 could become a 5, a 5 could become a 10. It's just where we can get the funding and what obviously the town can afford, what
Sure.
the town we can afford to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love the fact that you've got the plan because it lets us.
I don't have it on paper yet.
That's okay.
You seem
But
active.
I don't have it on paper, but I have it. I have, the eraser board, and we kind
Like a
of,
vision board.
yes, basically is what it is.
Sure.
But that's pretty much it for my budget. So,
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
any
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so looking at the budget, David,
Yep.
there are 1, 2, 3, 4 lines that deal with debt service that are blank for fiscal 26, because it looks like your budget is going down by $1.3 million in the water and sewer expenses, and that's because none of those lines are filled in. Are there numbers that should be there?
There'll be numbers there. I just haven't got them from the accountant or anything yet.
Okay,
That usually comes from them. I usually get them from them or Mary Beth later on.
okay. Good answer. That explains it.
Yeah, that has to do more the finance part of it, and they have to figure that's where they are with that.
That generally doesn't change from what they already predicted, though.
Like she explained, some of them will go start going down a little bit or up
Sure.
a little, but it's I got to wait for them to get their stuff done
Yep.
to get the numbers.
That budget.
Usually when I have my budget meeting with Mary Beth and kind of go over it a little bit, she sometimes will be able to have the numbers for me then.
Okay.
If you could, when you get a chance, if you could send us, a copy of your budget, because I don't believe I saw one come through.
Because this is the one that was sent to me to fill out for Mary. Is this the one that was?
Yeah, I haven't seen your numbers on it though yet. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I sent all
Mike,
this stuff in.
How would I have a copy?
do you have a copy?
I do. And I only get it. The only reason I have anything is because you've shared things with me.
Oh,
I think I saw
it
it.
would be,
in the email you put me on. Mike.
Yeah.
yeah. If it's in the if it's in our little share piece, but
Oh,
I have this on my desktop. Do you want me to leave this with you?
no, that's fine. That's fine.
oh, it is.
On that shared one.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, I mailed them all out, but
You,
me
you
just-
came in a mailing with where I had
yeah, nope, you're right. There it is, December
multiple
3rd.
budgets.
Yep. Yep, there it
Yeah,
is.
because this was sent to me and I filled it out and I sent it back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it again, Mike. I'll resend it just in case.
Okay.
Yeah, it is there.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, I have all copies, so if you guys would like just to kind of peek at this, you can.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
No, it's all right. It's in the December 3rd email. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shared.
All right, just
Whatever. Yeah, it went out last week or the week before. But I tried to send them as I get them. I've been trying to send them to everybody, but
Yeah.
keep us up to date. All right. Very good.
Would you like me to? I can leave this stuff for you if you'd like. It's all copies. just to kind of give you an idea of what I was talking
Never
about.
hurts.
Yeah, you have
About like
copies of it?
money wise.
You do have copies of it?
Yeah, these are all
Yeah.
these are all copies.
Oh,
I
okay.
have the sticky pads on each one that kind of explain a little bit of what each one is. Like this one here is from Thai Sales. I have to replace we purchase our water from Brockton, so I had just like any other meter, it dies after time. So that one had died, and to replace that meter's right now with all the parts, which I think I have in here too, it's going to be like almost 15 grand. So
You pay that back to Brockton?
no, that's on us.
That's on us.
That's on us.
So we pay them wire, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I can leave out, like I said, there's little sticky notes on it that kind of explains a little bit of everything. If anybody got any more questions, you're more than welcome to
Perfect. Thank
give me
you.
a call.
Great. Thank you again,
David.
sir.
No, you're welcome.
Very nice.
Is there anything else?
Mike?
You guys?
I'll take a look through.
Yeah, that's just going to give you an idea what the costs.
Oh, things are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that.
the one that's in there for CDS, there's the sticky note. That's what we pay CDS yearly for their services.
Yeah.
And then the other one, you'd have to times that by 2 because I gave you what it would cost just for one bill period, and that's done twice. So you just don't have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
No, I know what things cost. They're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Everything's going up.
Oh, you guys can
Yeah.
hold on to them if you like,
Yep,
so
sure.
you can kind of peek at them and see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Great. All righty. Well, thank you again for coming in.
All right.
Great night.
Thank you.
Thank you
Nice
for everything
meeting
you do.
everybody.
Yeah, good. Thanks for all
Have a
your
good
hard
night.
work. You know,
Great.
All righty.
seems like he's on top of stuff.
Yeah.
He's enthusiastic about his position and going after grants and having plans, and I just like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And people that work for the town, it's nice.
Yeah. I mean, right on the top of his head, he knows
Cares.
roughly
Yeah.
what it cost, but he's,
You know, many people probably are in his position in other towns that just don't care about the position as much as that person does. You know,
don't care till the water goes out or it doesn't leave the house.
you're collecting a check. Yeah, he's trying
So-
to better it, so I like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's looking at replacing it, and as soon as he started talking about 37-year-old pumps, I'm thinking, I had a 40-year-old car, and that was it was cheaper to buy a new one than it was to keep that thing going. So it's got to be as bad, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if we've got what do you say?
That fire hydrant deal sounded when he said, I can get them for this. Why not? Why aren't we? If it's cheaper, why are we still repairing them? He said the cost of his repairs was 15 grand, but to buy one new was $5 to install. So, I think
It's a toughie, right? It's if we had extra money hanging around. Clearly, he's somebody who's really looked ahead, and he would find ways to save us a lot of money in the long run. Trouble is, it's going to cost us money up front, and that's something I think a lot of that's educating our electorate, our citizens in the town. Is you can pay now, or you can pay later, but
I think
you're going to pay sooner or later.
I think he was on to it talking to Bartlett about, he said doing some things, and
Yeah.
I think that's what it'll go to is finding someone that'll contract or not, give them a good deal
Yeah.
going forward. But yeah, prices of things are astronomical. That could pile up quick. If a few
Yep.
of those go out.
All right, let's see. What do we got? Nothing else really on the agenda that I have. Anybody have anything, or are we getting ready to shut down?
Yeah.
Nope. We're good
Okay.
I'm good to go.
All right, so just so we know, next week is the 21st. We have a meeting with the select board at 6 o'clock in the room right down the hall here.
Yeah.
So if you can make it, perfect. 7 o'clock, we'll be back here in this room. We have three.
What do we do in that meeting?
It's really talking about the budget concept that the select board has looked at, right?
I think the discussion is going to be on getting the citizens educated on the need for an override. I'm thrilled that the select board has started to talk override in December, not April. this time, last year, they wouldn't go near the override word with a 10-foot pole. And we did as a FinCom what we did to sort of get us through that crisis. I'm very pleased that they're being proactive this year, and I believe that the discussion next week will be about educating or at least advocating for an override and a levy limit override. And I would recommend, if you haven't already watched Sean Kane's presentation to the select board, I believe there's a paper copy that was sent to us that we can go through his PowerPoint, or watch the December 17th select board meeting where he makes the presentation, because it's very carefully delineated how much money we're going to have based on the current situation and how much money we're going to need just to do a 2.5% increase for the budgets. Nothing outrageous, no increases in salaries for the 5 contracts that are being negotiated. So we are in a crunch this year, as we always are. And I think getting on board with the selectmen at this stage of the game is a huge improvement from a year ago.
None of the contracts have been negotiated. Is that correct? So we have no
Correct.
idea about anything.
Yep.
So an override would just be because of not having the information to go forward.
Well, if they get a 2.5% raise across the board, it sounds like that we're probably going to need one. I did watch that, the select board meeting, and I saw that. Like, they said 1.7 million.
Yeah. Yep.
Over budget. That's just with the 2.5%. So
And then that doesn't take
Push it
in.
down the road and deal with it next year.
we can't
You can't.
fund it.
Yeah.
It'd be $1.7 million over budget. So we can't fund the budget. Right now, there's an early projection, so
Nobody
we'll see
lose.
what happens, but could be more than that, could be less than that.
What goes to the wayside?
I still remember about 5 years ago, we had a town meeting, and the police chief just mentioned the fact that he needed more EMTs, more firemen. And to think about it here, look at the population in the town of Whitman. We got more senior citizens. How would you feel if somebody in your family was having a medical problem, like a heart attack? You called for help, and we couldn't send anybody because we don't have the people. If we don't have the people, and the ones we got, they got old equipment. So now all of a sudden they die because we don't have the money to hire the staff, train the staff, get the good equipment. Now you got a dead family member on your hands.
I agree.
In which case, they put it to a vote. It carried.
Yes.
Reluctantly, but it carried.
Yeah.
Silly question. I mean, what happens if you can't fund the budget? What do you do?
That's where the override comes. We got to raise
Then you have to
property
cut.
It cuts.
And-
Cuts.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, we've listened to a lot of groups come in, so a lot of departments already. If it came down to right now in your own head, right, it's not for a general discussion, but if you had a cut based on what we've heard so far, who would you cut? You know, where would be the
How
things?
much? You said 1.7.
It's early. Very,
That's-
very early.
That was a lot.
It's 1.7, and that does not also include the school. That I think he had like a 5.6% expected increase.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
they came in with 11. Was it 11% last year, Kathleen?
Last year it started out at 11 and it ended up at 7.
What's it? And
As
But I
opposed to the
believe this-
5.6
the new
that they.
school?
I believe
No.
the superintendent is, I know that he showed up at I think it was a November select board meeting, and I think the spirit of cooperation between the town and the schools, it's there.
Yeah.
Jeff Simonek was quoted as saying he was cautiously optimistic that this year is going to be less contentious than previous years because they're on board. They've been treated with respect. They weren't told 5% and that's it, and you figure out how to live with it. So I think that we're going to have a more cooperative series of discussions over the course of the fiscal year, over the course of our budget deliberations. So I am also cautiously optimistic that we will be able to come up with something that all parties can agree to, that is realistic and treats all departments the same. I'm thrilled that the schools are not taking it on the chin as they were year after year after year. They're not marginalized. It's all one big happy family. Police, fire, library, senior citizens, and schools, they're all in this together. So I think that's the right way to go for a community.
Yeah, it's like you said, Mike. It's early. We don't know what these numbers are going to be. It was well written up in the Whitman Express as well. But yeah, definitely review that material because that's really what the thought is all right, how do we get there? What can we do? We get a better understanding about where the select board is. And, obviously if you've got questions, that's a good time to put it in there.
Yes.
Just making a broad question.
So after that, next week, we have just the Board of Health and the library next week. The facilities manager requested, and I moved them up a week. So I will send you out an updated version of that spreadsheet. I've got to submit a change request for a meeting. I'll do that next week. And I'll submit the February meeting announcements downstairs next week as well. So we'll
Thank you, Mike.
stay ahead of everything. So, all right, that's it. You got a motion to
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
second?
You need to take a roll call because I'm on the phone.
Yep. So go ahead, Kathleen,
Yes.
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Justin, Mike,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
and I will go yes. That's unanimous. See you all next week.
See you
Thank
next.
you so much. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.